My name is Sam, and this is the Booketlist. It's like a bucket list, but for books. Today's video is going to be a Top 5 Wednesday video. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Ginger Reads Laney and is currently being hosted by Thoughts on Tomes. I'll link the Goodreads group along with their channels down below. This week's topic is Top 5 Trends in Book Publishing that you're tired of. So I have mine listed on my phone, so if you see me look down, that's why. The first one I want to talk about is publishers making book comparisons. What I mean by this is when a publisher comes up with a book and says in its press release or on the cover, this is the next Harry Potter. If you liked Poison Study, you will like this. I don't like that because it kind of pigeonholes things. And I understand why they do it. A lot of what book publishers do is a marketing ploy to get more sales, that sort of thing. And I will get to more on that in a minute, but I don't like this particular trend because it puts the book in a little hole. And if I didn't like, Poison Study, which I did, but if I didn't like it, then I wouldn't want to pick up this book. And I would feel weird picking up this book because how could I like one and not the other? When in actuality, they're two completely different books. Hopefully. There have been books I've seen in the past that are just regurgitations of other books, and we don't want that. But assuming that the novel has merit on its own and is new and exciting, the publisher making those comparisons is stupid. That being said, I think when, a reviewer does that, whether that be a professional reviewer like from the, New York Times book section, someone on YouTube, a blog, I think that's a little bit different because what they're doing is capitalizing on their own lived experience and what they have read in the past to make the best comparisons. And I know to take those reviews with a grain of salt depending on the person's other taste, that sort of thing. But when a publisher comes out, because it's an entity and not an individual, I feel like I can't get as good a sense of their tastes and reading habits and won't be able to make judgment calls about their comparisons as I would with other reviewers. This next one I don't have any examples of because I just don't buy them, but it is box sets when the series isn't finished. I've seen online, books 1 through 4 of this series, own them now, and like the books 5 through 7 or 5 through whatever aren't out yet, so they're just publishing this first section. It forces people to buy another box set of the later half or buy a whole new box set if they want to have matching covers. And while I don't personally care about matching covers, a lot of people do. And I think it's just a way for people to make more money in the publishing industry, and I don't like that. I understand publishing in a lot of ways is a dying art, and with, ebooks it's maybe not as lucrative as it used to be, but I just don't like, companies tricking or forcing people to buy things that they don't need or to buy incomplete things just to make more money off of them. I find that shady and underhanded. For this next one I had to go get an example, but it is different sized books in a series. Now I don't care about cover changes. I of course enjoy a beautiful cover. For the Poison Study series, that trilogy, the first two are one cover and the third one is the newer cover. And does it look as pretty on my shelf? No, but who gives a shit? Lots of people, but not me, which is fine. What does really get my goat though is when publishers will produce one book in trade paperback and another book in mass market paperback. And to illustrate this, I have Brandon Sanderson's The Way of the Kings, which is the first book in the Stormlight Archive series. Now this book is a doorstop. It's over 1,000 pages, and I really like reading these big floppy paperbacks because they might be kind of heavy, but they're easy to hold, the words are big, they're just fun to go through, really like them. The second book in the series, and maybe they did make a trade paperback, but it's not readily available because I couldn't find it, is only in this mass market paperback. And this one is even longer, or at least in this format it is, than the first book. And it's just a little and chunky. And that is fine if all of these books are going to be a mass market paperback. I understand it's cheaper and it's also pretty common with fantasy novels to be in this format, but don't make one of them like this and not the other. I don't care that they don't look right on my shelf. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the reading experience has changed. Fourth is series when something does not have to be a series. And this is not only common in the publishing industry, but it's incredibly common with movies, when, you know, something could be one movie and they make it into like 10, like The Hobbit. And so, I don't know, I find this a little annoying in books, and the example I have is maybe not the best, because I did end up enjoying the second and third book of this trilogy, but I would have preferred probably as a standalone novel, and that is Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. And I love this book, but then, you know, they published the other two and those were fine, but I really could have just left this alone. Finally, going through a similar vein is series, like companion follow-up series, where the main characters still play a huge role. Now, I have less of a problem with this if it's a whole new set of characters in the same world and then you get like cameo appearances from the characters from the first series. Less of a problem with that. And this tends to happen in fantasy, especially young adult fantasy. What I don't like is when it's a whole new set of characters, but the first set characters comes in and plays a huge part in the story. Now, what I'm thinking of is, again, Maria V. Snyder. The Stormglass series and all of the other series that she's written, I find that Yelena and Valak and the main characters in here play a big role. Now, I love those characters, but I want them to be done. I want their story to wrap up. I feel like it's never going to be settled. Alright, so that was my super duper rambly Top 5 Wednesday for this week of book trends that I don't really find great in publishing. And if you want to leave the top 5 book trends you don't like in the comments down below, I would greatly appreciate it. I want to hear what you have to say. Also, if you like what you see and want to hear me rant about stupid shit like this, then hit the subscribe button down below. And I will see you next time. Bye!